All right, some more guys. They are trickling into spring training in Peoria, Arizona. And Ha-Seong Kim, he has been there for a little bit. Jackson Merill saw some videos online today of him, and he spoke to the media today as well. And Kevin Acee from the San Diego Union Tribune was writing a piece today, just reporting on some of the things that were happening in spring training. And one of those topics was Jackson Merill and his opportunity that he is going to get in spring training. And then it kind of went into Ha-Seong Kim because Merrill's future, where is he going to play? Is it infield, outfield? Right now with Jackson Merrill, it sure seems like it's his job to lose in left field or in center field. Maybe it's Merrill in center, Tatis in right, Profar in left, and they don't want to have a Zokar start. So they have a Zokar be the fourth outfielder there. Maybe Marcy, they give him more time in the minor leagues. But Merrill was taking some fly balls. I saw a video of that today from Darn A Trip. He was taking some fly balls in center field, and he's going to get every opportunity, I think, to get a big league starting job, at least based on the current construction of the major league roster, which could obviously change here in the month of February and even in the month of March based on how slow transactions have really been this offseason. But getting to the Ha-Seong Kim piece, Kevin writes here, Merrill may yet be the Padres shortstop of the future as Bogaerts transitions sooner or later to the right side of the field. Then again, the team plans to try to extend Ha-Seong Kim and could make him its permanent shortstop. Regardless for 2024, and especially if he were to blister through spring training and make the opening day roster, Merrill's primary role would be as a utility player with a focus on the outfield. Then he goes in, and Schilt was talking today as well about what kind of the plan is, where Jackson Merrill is going to play. So the main part, though, that I think is going to catch Padres fans' attention, the Padres planning to try to extend Ha-Seong Kim. Could make him permanent shortstop. Is Kim a better shortstop than Xander Bogaerts? Probably, yeah, defensively. I'm not saying Bogaerts is not good. It seems like right now Bogaerts is better defensively. He's the better shortstop than Jackson Merrill is, but Jackson Merrill obviously doesn't have as much big league experience, and he has time to grow and get better as well. But Ha-Seong Kim, I think the Padres, if they're going to have him long term, he would be the shortstop with Bogaerts going over to second base or first base if maybe they want to have Crony play second base instead of first, and maybe they just feel like that's the better fit. But yeah, with planning to try to extend Ha-Seong Kim, I'm not surprised that this is being reported. It doesn't seem like the Padres are like, yep, Ha-Seong Kim is going to get traded. It seems like it's a big asking price for Ha-Seong Kim, obviously, as it should be. He's not making much money, very valuable player, can play a lot of different spots, can hit anywhere in the lineup, cheap salary. Obviously, you don't want to trade Ha-Seong Kim, but what if you can get something? We've been through this. What if you can get something back, like a starting pitcher, like outfield, and that can open up a spot for Jackson Merrill to play the infield, where maybe that's the better thing. But Jackson Merrill, he's an athlete, I should say. I think he can go to the outfield and do pretty well there if that work is put in, and it seems like that work has already been put in the offseason, and it's going to continue to be put in. Does an extension get done? I doubt it. I don't think so. I mean, Ha-Seong Kim can say, I want to be with the Padres, but the Padres, how much money are they willing to give him? Are they willing to give him $100,000? Because what if he has another year like he had in 2023 and the Padres make the postseason? He's good in the postseason. Dansby Swanson got a 7-year, $177 million contract with the Chicago Cubs. Bigger name, World Series in 2021 with the Braves. I get that. But that's a AAV of a little over $25 million a year. I mean, Ha-Seong Kim, he keeps getting better, and we know that the value of contracts continues to increase. So what would the smarter thing for Ha-Seong Kim to be? Sign an extension or go out into the free agent market? And if the Padres really want you, then they'll go get you in free agency. And you can give them an opportunity to match it or come close to another team's offer. But I think that Ha-Seong Kim wants to be with the Padres long term, and the Padres may want Ha-Seong Kim long term, but it is a business still, and you still have to give him a respectable offer. I don't think he's just gonna come back for $80 million. I think it's gonna have to be a significant contract. It's gonna have to be over $100 million. I guess some of it may depend on what happens here in 2024, but it's probably gonna be between 100 to 180. Maybe is 150 too much? Again, probably depending on what happens here in 2024, because this guy is a very valuable player. Teams may not think shortstop, but you can put him at second. You can put him at third. And who knows what that number is going to look like if he continues to progress in 2024. Maybe he doesn't have a 2023 season. Maybe it's even better than he had in 2023. And so, Kevin Acee, I think he was on Darren Smith's show earlier today. I was listening to that interview, and it was mentioned how the Padres, they never were thinking about extending Juan Soto. That just wasn't going to happen, especially once, Peter Seidler passed away. I think we all recognized that. I think we knew that when Peter was still here with us. With Ha-Seong Kim, the Padres may sit there and be like, well, Ha-Seong Kim, that's doable. But what does that mean for the future? They might be totally fine with this. With Manny at third, Kim at short, Bogarts at second, or Bogarts at short, Kim at second, whatever. Cronenworth at first, and they're okay with that infield long term. And they'll have Merill go play left or center. They'll have Marcy. Paulie can be a bench guy, or he can transition to the outfield as well. They have Tatis, obviously. And they have their long term plan for almost every position, and that's that. And after that, you're just banking on these pitchers like Robbie Snelling and Dylan Lesko and Michael King. I know he's only a couple years, but like Johnny Brito, Randy Vasquez, Iriarte, Mazer, if those guys don't get traded, Thorpe, you're banking on those guys who aren't going to be making anything coming up and being a real impact in addition to Darvish and Musgrove, because position player wise, you're pretty locked down. If Ha-Seong Kim, gets extended, if they commit to Merill in the outfield, Tatis obviously in the outfield, someone else in the outfield, whether it's Marcy, someone not making a whole lot of money. Maybe it is someone that's a major league vet that they can just bring in on a 1-2 year deal and then just cycle through those types of guys. And then the infield obviously set. Maybe they're okay with that, and they have Campusano at catcher and wait for Ethan Salas to come up, and then we'll see what happens with Campusano, but you can worry about that down the line. But I just feel like now Ha-Seong Kim right now, yeah, you want him here long term, but how much money is that going to cost? And what will that handicap you? Will that keep you from spending on other areas of the roster? It doesn't seem like Jake Cronenworth is going to get traded. So if you want to still have a little bit of flexibility, then maybe extending Ha-Seong Kim, or maybe they don't extend him. Maybe it's in free agency. Maybe that's not the best thing to do financially, is to give another big long-term contract out. While we may want that, we can't hide the Padres' financial situation that they're in, and the other guys that are here on long-term contracts. You can't, get those contracts out of here. So they've kind of made their bed, and maybe part of this is, we know that Soto obviously had to be sacrificed. He's gone. And maybe Ha-Seong Kim's going to have to be gone as well. I'm not saying traded, but him just not come back because of some of the spots that are already filled, some of the long-term contracts that are already here. So it's going to be about, like, for the Padres, what's the best situation for them with the long-term contracts that they have. Does it make more sense to have Kim long-term and commit to Merill long-term in the outfield, or does it make more sense to shift some guys in the infield, have Jackson Merill come into the infield at shortstop or at second base? At shortstop, where he's most comfortable, obviously. That's his position. There's questions here, obviously, with the Padres. And obviously, I think the immediate, like, for the Kim extension, I don't see that getting done. I just don't. I think Kim is not someone that would. Maybe he would. Maybe he's the ultimate team player, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I'll sign for $100 million. I'm totally fine with that. Family will be set up for life. I don't need that much money." But how I don't even know who his agent is. How would they feel about that? How would the players union feel about that? Um, this is his big time to cat. I know he's got a $28 million. That's a lot of money still. $28 million contract. His first time around here in this 4-year deal with the Padres. But this is going to be his one big time to cash in, like Dansby Swanson was able to cash in with the Chicago Cubs. If he can have another good 2023 season, and he can keep progressing. So I'm sure in the comments, I'll ask this question to you. Let me know in the comments. Do you want Ha-Seong Kim here long term? The answer will probably be yes. Do you think the Padres should extend Ha-Seong Kim? The answer probably will be yes by a lot of Padres fans because they want Ha-Seong Kim here long term. But what will that mean for other areas? Will they be able to spend on other areas, on outfield, on pitching? Again, like as I said earlier, I think that they're going to be banking on this young pitching coming up, not making money and performing. What are the other teams? I mean, the Dodgers, obviously, they have players like that. The Braves have had some players like that, young guys that come up, and I'm talking about pitching. Orioles, that's position players. I'm talking about pitching. Starting pitching, come up. They're not making much money. The Brewers, obviously, now Woodruff not returning. Corbin Burns, they end up dealing him. But teams have had that where they've had some of their top guys come up, and they had that window there to contend and build around those cheap pitchers. And maybe that's what the Padres are going to have to do here in the future. And it's not going to be a whole lot of building around those guys. It's really waiting for those guys to come up because a lot of these guys are locked up here long term, right? And I guess the building around would be some free agents here and there, but the building is these minor leaguers: Jackson Merrill, Jacob Marcy, Graham Pauley, Nathan Martorella. What are they going to be at the big league level? Like, that's what it feels like part of the building is going to be.